Welcome aboard THP Universe. We are live. This is your host, JDax, and joining me to break down all things about the finale with UST Mamiya. I'll start with my compadre in crime, Scoob. 45 is here.
Let's go, THP. Let's get dug in.
Not smiled as much as the last time we talked, Scoob, on these live streams.
No, things happen.
And joining us today is THP staff member, two-time champion at this very golf course that we're going to talk about here in a second. Who better to help us break this down than the Dean of THP? Ddec is here. Say hello, Dean.
Hey guys, happy to be here. Initial appearance here on one of the preview shows. Let's have some fun.
Yes, it is an initial appearance for Dean. I'm super excited. More to come. I believe, in the future. Let's get started. This is always weird. I'm going to start off by just saying this is the second time this year that I've had to discuss an experience that I'm actually playing in. So it's a little bit difficult to discuss. I'm ready for all of the heckling. So let's get it stuck in and let's start this. It's a 4-team event. You're no in 2-man teams, and Dean, you're no stranger to this type of thing. This is when I said that you were a 2-time champion at Ballyhack. This is the exact same type of profile of teams that you were a champion with in First and Fun. When you see Ballyhack, what do you think, Dean? I'll start with you as someone that loves the place and has had wild success.
Absolutely. Love Ballyhack. It's one of those things you step on the property and all of a sudden it's like, we're here. And for me, you get there, it's like, we're here and it's go time. You know, First and Fun, we show up and we're ready to do business. It's a business trip for us. And I think that a couple of the teams are going to approach it like that this week. It's a beautiful property. I love seeing the silos, love sitting out on the back deck, overlooking the course, the cottages, especially the owner's cottage, everything. It's a great place to play golf.
One of my favorite things about Ballyhack is the showers in the cottages. Scooby, I know that we've done a lot of previews in a lot of different spots related to Ballyhack. What was your thoughts when we saw that this one was going back to Roanoke in the heart of Four Horsemen country for the finale?
You got to love Ballyhack. I mean, mountain golf out on the East Coast is something special in terms of the landscape. The creativity that you have to kind of figure out with the elevation is great. The photos from someone who hasn't been and gets to explore is great. I do wonder though, and I think we're getting some shower commentary. Are you excited because that steam shower will just take the puffiness away from the round afterwards before dinner, or what's the deal there?
Look, I'm a fan of the steam showers. I'm not going to lie that the etiquette, I wasn't aware totally of the etiquette the last time I was there, but I have been informed, just like the canned transfusions are frowned upon. Also, there's certain way to sit in the steam shower that I didn't partake in last time or do, but I've learned my lesson and I'm going to move on from there.
Folks, put the towel down. If you're going to use the steam shower, put the towel down. Sit on the towel first.
I wasn't going to give them the.
Well, I mean, we're going to dance on it. I'm just going to throw it out there. Put the towel down.
Before I get to the keyholes, I do want to mention that toward the end of this telecast, I am going to be giving away this shirt to a lucky viewer tonight. It says I'm a Danny Lee guy. So if you have some sort of if you like this shirt, let us know in the in the live thread, and this may appear at a THP store near you.
JDax, we got a couple comments. Is it the game worn shirt that may or may not have drool on it that's being given away? The comments, the people want to know.
I'm a Danny Lee guy. Okay, and if that makes me wrong, I don't want to be right. All right, let me maneuver here. There's some key holes on this course, and it is a stern test of golf. it's got a lot of risk reward elements. It's got multi-tiered greens. It's got wind conditions that could come into play. It's got elevation changes. It's got some gnarly pin positions, depending upon where they put them, that could make some of these holes extremely difficult. Dean, I'll start this one with you. As you look at sort of these 9-hole matches, and we'll get to the format here in a second, like, what are some of the key holes that the followers need to be watching out for?
Well, I think everybody is going to talk about that first tee shot, which I am horrendous at. We all know that. Anyone who's followed any of these events, I don't know what it is about the hole. It's not really that difficult, in my opinion. If you get the ball in the fairway, luckily for me, I usually have a partner that gets the ball in the fairway, because we all know I do not. But from there, if you could hit a 200 or 220 yard shot, you have a nice little uphill approach. Don't miss left, where there's a lot of those spots on this course where you have to know where you can't miss, and you have to know where the miss is and play to. So number one's like that. Number two is a very nice, for me, an easy tee shot, because you could land a 747 on that fairway, because it shares a fairway with number 5. But I mean, key holes, number 3 is one where I always felt like on the front 9, that's where you start get going, get playing some good golf on number 3. And I mean, it, Dex.
It's the shortest par 3, and that they put the pin in the hole in the bowl on 3. You could see some shots get in there pretty tight. Like, I think that there's a lot of false sense of confidence as you walk off of 3. 4 is a very difficult driving hole. 6 sort of has a risk reward element. I love 8 and 9. The 8 and 9 combo is probably my favorite combo on that course. 8's got this little sort of double secret golf hack sort of line that you could take to maybe take on and get it onto the green. And 9 is just a beautiful golf hole, but it is brutal. Like, you have to put the drive, like, you have to sort of aim at the bunker, try to hit a cut off of it. If it leaks right of Ronald Reagan, you could be down in that little valley trying to play it back up. The second shot is no bargain, especially, like, you need to be on the left-hand side. And if you end up on the right, that third shot up to that green complex becomes very difficult. And depending upon where they put that pin, if you somehow put yourself on the back tier, and Maynard has shown several videos of him and I attempting the far back tier putt to a bottom pin location, that ball could leave the green.
Yeah.
Easily. And then all of a sudden, now you're grabbing your wedge and walking down the hill. So if some of these 9-hole matches get to that stretch, and we'll talk about the format here in a second, but because of the format, like, we're going to have to play all of these holes out. Okay? Like, you can't win a match 4 and 3 and then just mess around, because there's 10 points total per match. Each team is going to play 3 matches on day 1. So yeah, I mean, like, even if one of these matches is over by the time it gets to 7, well, you know what? You get to 8 and 9, maybe the team that lost can make up for it. I think that it is going to be a great challenge for all of us involved. I want to talk about some of the gear. Now, look, it's UST Mamiya. We're going to talk shafts. I've been down for a long time. Okay, I've been a Danny Lee guy for a long time. 10th anniversary of the recoil, and the recoil from an iron standpoint, the recoil Dart 90 and 105 is probably one of the more popular people that play graphite of the THP universe, in my opinion. You look at people's bag signature, you see a lot of recoil in there, because it's been a name, it's been a product that has done them extremely well. I played the 95 Protos for forever, switched to the Dart 90s. I have the 105s in my wedges. Scoob, talking about recoil, you've played the Dart Vs even too. So, I mean, like, you took a look at some of the gear and the gear selection. What did you see from the participants?
In terms of the participants, a lot of link blue in the bag with driver right now. A couple of those protos that we've been hearing all about on the forum, kind of those anti-left shafts, which I got to hit one at Hidden Creek, was just a trip. Not for me, from someone who can't find left for the life of me. And then in the irons, like you said, there's recoil up and down the line. Got a little bit of flavoring of the Dart V in there as well, all the way through wedges for most folks. And that's not even getting into the putter shafts that, we can drool over those here shortly.
Well, that blue fits a lot of people, right? It's a mid-launch, low spin. I have a blue. Well, I'm playing the Proto version 2, but before that I played the blue in my driver, and I played the red in my 3-wood. Dean, you've also played a lot of their stuff. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I started off this year with the blue and a AI Smoke Max head, which seems to be pretty popular against the guys that are showing up this week. I did switch to the Proto. I played the V1 for a bunch and then switched to the V2 my last few rounds. And once you know that shaft combination or that shaft head is not going to go left, it really unlocks the way you approach each hole, because I'm somebody who does usually miss to the left. I obviously have that big block to the right. That's the other miss, so it's always comfortable being on a tee with me. But if you know it's not going to do one thing, you could take aim. You could take a very specific line and just really swing with all you got and really try to release the club head, and it's not going to snap. So it's eye-opening. Well, you have it in the bag. I'm more curious if you see the same type of deal, knowing that it's not going to have a one-way miss.
Yes, I have. Well, I mean, I showed some of my stats since I switched exclusively the last 15 rounds in the version 2. The version 1 and the version 2 are very similar. I've been told, like, even the slight differences that I think that I feel may be in my mind. So maybe they're going to reveal it this thing. By the way, they're the same shaft, Dax. I feel like the version 2 is a little bit firmer. I feel like I can go ahead and even like go after the left side and know that it's gonna kind of like cut back for me, which has equaled a little bit more fairways and reg than normal. Maybe not in the sim last night with Josh, but I think that sim had a natural right bias because he was also missing right, which he doesn't normally
Jax,
do.
Word in the comments is first tee you're going to be in the thick stuff on the right. It looks like that's where the money's moving.
Look, I have been there before, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to go back there. Okay, so like I'm the only person that the sports book made a plus odds to hit that fairway. Like, I want to bankrupt the sports book on that bet. I've already bet max on myself to hit that fairway. I'm expecting the rest of the THP universe to follow suit and bet the max there, because I do think that was a very ridiculous line. The line's wrong.
What are you going to hit?
I mean, maybe I may hit. I usually hit 3-wood there, so that's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm not hitting driver. I'll probably usually always hit 3-wood. So probably
what's the 3-wood shaft right now?
It's the Link M40X red is in there.
Good one. That's what I got in the fairways.
Is in that shaft. I don't want to leave this without talking about their Swing Fit tool. I know we talked about like, hey, what's in our bags, and you're gonna, if you follow the live thread, I've already taken a list of questions. Maynard has a list of questions. I can't wait to ask a whole lot of things about like things I've seen pop up on their website. Like there's a recoil ESX shaft that says it's coming in 2025. If you want to take their tool, go to the UST Mamiya website. It's right at the top bar. You can click there and see what shaft. But I don't want to leave here without talking about the all-in, because it's been very popular. I have I've already seen questions in the live thread. Which putter? I'm bringing 2 putters with me. This Chicago double bend has an all-in. It's a proto shaft back when they had the nomenclature of the all-in smack wrap. And then I have, of course, a 3TS that has just the standard all-in shaft. Scoob, I know you're a big fan of these putter shafts.
100%.
I know you wanted to talk about them. I have it here. Talk about them.
I thought you were going to go from the fitting tool into the next board, and I was like, we can't do that without talking about putter shaft.
I know.
I mean, I love it for a
Don't
couple
let
of
him get
reasons.
off track.
You can't let them get off track, especially with such a great product, because you got the all graphite to go straight in. You've got the steel that can go over the hosel with the little spud piece. The retrofit for the double bend, which I've got on a couple of my putters. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, the feel is fantastic. But what's better is when I compared my first year without it to within, my three putts per number of holes per three putt got 16 holes better when I looked at a yearly sample. Like, that's just nuts with the stability it gives me and that confidence on the green. I love it.
Before we move on, look, Danny's going to answer any and all questions about the shafts and the gear. So, like, keep sending your questions in. I will make sure, or Maynard will make sure, or the rest of us will make sure that they get asked and answered. Let's talk about this format, guys, because it's an unusual format for us. A lot of times when we have the 2-man teams, it's straight up just sort of stroke play. You go out there in different formats, and your score in relation to par is how you're determined a winner. But in this particular case, the teams are gonna sort of round robin themselves around. We're gonna play 3 matches on day 1. Each of them 9-hole matches. 2 of the matches will be Shamble Best Ball. The last match will be alternate shot. A little bit different of a draw. Each team's going to play each other in the Shamble Best Ball format, but there is a little bit of a draw in alternate shot because we're not playing a 4th match that day, and I don't even know if JB Cobb the third could make it through a 4th match, without like leaking oil. But there's also a point element against the field, so there's 10 points total per match. At the end of this entire extravaganza, the 2 top point getter teams are going to face off in the championship round the following day, which will be straight up match play, Shamble Best Ball, and the 3rd and 4th place teams will play in sort of a consolation match that could have some ramifications if a certain team is in it, and we'll get to that stipulation. Dean, what did you think about this format? Because it is very different than what we normally see.
It's different. And when it was announced, talked behind the scenes with Josh, and I said, this is something that my former golf league played. And what the whole thing was, once the match is over, sometimes people get a little loose with their shots. They don't really worry too much. This time, you can't do that. You got to keep going. Every hole is worth the same amount as what it used to be for an official match. So now you're going to have a situation where guys, they could go down. We said it before the show. They could lose the first 5 holes and still walk out with 4 points and only lose the point total. What would that be? 6-4. So you can only be down 2 net points after one 9-hole match that you lose. That could be pretty interesting how it works out. And I'm trying to figure it out in my head. If there's a situation where for the championship match, if there's going to be a team that will be up but lose the match but still have enough points to win.
Well, the format rewards you for winning, but not as much. Like it would reward you big time for boat racing someone. Okay, like because like if you win a 9-hole match 5 and 4. You would get 5 points plus 1 for winning the match. That's 6 points, and now you're still having to finish the final 4 holes. If you lost all those 4 holes, then all of a sudden the total points from that match is 6 for one team, 4 for another. That you do if holes are halved. The boat's team gets half a points. Like, look, I don't even know how Jeremy was able to put out total point odds because we haven't done this before, and you couldn't use any historical data.
He's smart.
He is very smart. Scoob, what did you think about the format? Big deal, small deal, no deal?
I mean, I think it's a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal for the competitors, but I think it's a big deal for those of us following along in the forum because, like you all were hitting at, every hole's going to matter. Every putt's going to matter. You're locked in for all 27 on day 1, and I think that's going to be great, right? If you're getting boat raced, who can come back? If someone's maybe losing their cool, Has all the meditation training paid off to keep it, within striking distance? I think it's going to be great. The other fun little twist that I don't think we've hit on yet is, and I'll ask this one to Ddec there, which team is most likely to be forced with slow play to have holes to play catch up?
Oh man.
All Not us.
Except for Danny and Josh's group.
Fair answer.
That's a very fair answer. Before I get to the teams breakdown, I just wanted to say, like, this experience was a little bit different than some others, where normally you sign up for there's sign ups, you get selected for the experience. Each one of the THP members that was selected in here, they were selected for their participation in the THP Mamiya gear threads. So if you want to get shoulder tapped someday for an experience just like this, remember, get into those gear threads and talk gear, and maybe you get selected to something like this, just like I did. Let's check out the teams and the odds-on favorite, and the team that I would be all over if I wasn't playing in this. Danny comes in at a 2.2, and Josh comes in at 8.8. Had some putty woes last night in the sim. So, maybe. They go off at 8-5. Jumanese, what are your thoughts here on this team, Dean?
They're the favorites for a reason. Mm-hmm. Danny plays that course. Josh obviously has played that course well and won at that course multiple times. They partner very well. We've seen them throughout the entire Shaft Up series, how well they play. They're a tough out. This kind of format, I think it suits them very, very well.
Josh is coming off an all-worlder at the Morgan Cup, where he just fired a dagger into the hearts of all Team Paradise followers. Speaking of Team Paradise followers, Scoob, what are your thoughts on this team?
I think you guys are spot on that. It's the odds-on favorite. It's the odds-on favorite for a reason. But we've seen the Morgan Cup celebration lap over the last 2 weeks. I think Kentucky golfer, what's the count, up to about 24 at this point in terms of celebration? Has that taken a little bit of the focus off, right? We've seen, world-class teams come around the next season and struggle a little bit. So is the game going to be sharp? We'll see.
Look, I don't care if it's 24, 14, it's not enough. Okay, you should do it more. Next team that goes off at 3-1, Calm and Combustible. This is your friendly neighborhood host. I go off with Mike G _74, which I still don't know how he keeps the numbers after all of the angst that I've given him about having numbers in his name. I will say this, historically speaking, the profile of the mid does cause massive damage usually at this. However, before y'all can say it, look, my record at these things is not the greatest. I literally lost a GOAT Cup with the greatest closer of all time. And then the only time that he ever loses a singles match is just so happens the time I'm in the cart with him. I'm having really questions on whether or not I'm the cooler or not. I will point out that in the times where I have been on the winning team at one of these experiences, it's been at a UST Mamiya experience, and Danny's been there. Okay, so now maybe this is the karma coming in. Maybe this is where I finally get off the schneid here. Dean, break down what you see in this team.
I don't know why you just went through the 6 degrees of Danny Lee to try to figure out how you are possibly going to win this event, but I think everybody listening definitely appreciated that. Dax, I don't know. I think you guys are going to struggle. I think you're going to struggle. Look, Mike G still, like you said, your partner still has numbers in his name. It clearly means you don't have the pull that you think you do. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a struggle for you guys, but the matchups, I like the matchups you guys have throughout. And so you'll rack up some points, and I'll lean into where I think you're going to finish at the end of this. But you guys, like you said, mids, they usually do well here. So people are going to be looking out for you. Obviously, you were the early money was going to you on the forum. It's
Yeah,
changed a little
I
bit
don't.
since my last check. So
Yeah, I think that there's some money coming in on Josh and them, and it should. But like early action did favor us in both the contest selection and the coins on the sports book. Scoob, talk to me about this team's chances.
I mean, we know what we're getting with one half of the ledger. We know where the record sits. I mean, we don't even know what putter is going to show up on the first tee, but we know where the record is. The other side of the fence, though, however, Mike G74, he's playing good golf this fall right now. I think went low 80s from 65K. That's an impressive round. He's been traveling around, so you got to think the cap's going to travel. And word on the street is he's been doing Pilates. He's been working on his core. He's been working on those back muscles. So if you need to hop on, he might be able to carry you up a couple of those hills. We'll see.
the inside scoop right there. We're breaking down their exercise routine.
Pilates.
I
I
love
love
it.
it. I
Gotta
love it.
bring the details.
Love
I
it.
look. I do like our chances, right? I do. I really, really do. Let's get to my man Nappy and Captain Maynard here. Shoveling Sunshine. They go off at 4-1. This is sort of like that sort of mid high or mid high or mid type of thing. Like, cause I usually like cap. Like when I say high, it's usually 16 plus. This is going to round up course adjusted to 16 for Nappy. Captain Maynard's been playing pretty good golf. Okay,
And all over.
been right. Well, I mean, of course, he's always on vacation.
Yeah.
He even went to look. He is so relaxed about this thing. He went to the beach club today after a hurricane. Okay, that he's gonna be game. I like him in these formats. At the rivalry, Captain Maynard was my partner. When we won that match, he usually can keep you in it. Him and Nappy know each other, so I like the way this team sort of meshes together. Scooby, I'll start with you. Talk to me about the Sunshine Bros here.
I mean, it's a solid team. You got to like where their game is coming into shape. We've seen a little bit about Maynard. When Nappy, after coming off shaft up this year, after he got set up by Danny Lee with his driver and shaft, he had, quote, the best round I've played in a decade as he's been getting dialed in. So if you get that dialed in with these events in terms of the format, in terms of Shamble, I think this team's going to be right. It's going to be right there. Plus, Maynard promised big plates full of breakfast for Ballyhack food, and I'm all here for that.
There's been some quiet confidence around the Captain Maynard here. And Dean, is that confidence that he's showing warranted?
I mean, the guy's always on vacation. He's a YouTube star now. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you be? I mean, come on. Let's be real. So, but they're an interesting team. I kind of like their chances. Nappy had a rough one at Victoria National. I talked to him. He said he got caught up a little bit into what was going on, all the excitement getting there the first time. This time he says that's not going to happen. He's going to be ready. He's going to be confident. He's going to be excited, but he's going to be living in the moment. So with that in mind, I kind of like what they have going on. And obviously we'll talk about a little side action on them. That's going to be taking place.
We will. We're not going to talk about the stipulation, if you will,
No,
yet.
so with Maynard, I played with Maynard back at the 2014 Morgan Cup. So yeah, there we go, dating ourselves a decade ago. Saw him play some really good golf into kind of a pressure situation, and I would expect to see more of that from him.
Sometimes he gets the swipes and starts missing right of Ronald Reagan, right of Mussolini, if you will.
Beg.
If that happens there, that could be trouble. Oh, let's go to Dillywood. Big Dill, 16.6, and the artist formerly known as JBC, CB3, Thrill Billy Jim, 17.7. I have to mispronounce somebody's name, and I know all these people. Scoob, I'll start with you on Dillywood. Your thoughts here? The ha-has, I think in this format could stay in it deep. because even if they lose a match, they can still take advantage of holes in which they pop on. This team is going to pop in every configuration, okay? And a lot of times, like sometimes when you throw the two highs out there, they don't even the match doesn't go deep enough to where they could take advantage of their pops, right? In this particular case, we have to play all the holes out. They could still take advantage of some of their pops, so maybe losing some of these matches will not be as big of a factor. Thoughts on Dillywood, Scoop?
I mean, I think I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but we've seen Big Dill. His game is coming into form. See him out in some of the gear threads. Drivers are rounding into form. Irons are rounding into form. So you get that with the high caps, and you made a great point. When you see those high matchups, yeah, maybe they get closed out with 2 or 3 left, but they're always right there. So it just takes 1 or 2 more, and then you're in business. The other thing that this team has going for it, and you can go find it out on the boards, in terms of the swag they're bringing to this event, in terms of team swag, first place, easy, in a boat race.
Dean, your thoughts on Dillywood?
All 10 points to them for the swag, right, Scoop?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They rake it in. You know what? They're an interesting team. The 999 format's going to be kind of I think it's important for them, to be honest with you. All the points that they could get, even like you said, if they fall down in a match early, they still have a chance to win points. JB Cobb with the interesting setup of the 2 mini drivers means he should be able to find a fairway with one of those 2 clubs every time. You would think, right? Or close to it. At least as a team, they should find the fairway every time. They've got a safety club with there. Big Dill has had a hole in one recently, so his irons are getting sharp. Like Scooby said, I think this team could push a little bit. I think the important thing for them is that first match, that first 9-hole shamble. They've got to go up against Juamise and see how many points they can get out of that. If they could get, let's say, 4 or 5 points out of that, I think that's going to be really important for them going forward. If they end up with a low point total, that could be tough, but we don't want to see that. We want to see them play well. We want to see everybody play well.
Right.
And then we'll see they go up against you guys in the alt shot. If they can survive the first 9, they have the middle 9 there as well, but then get something in the alt shot against you guys, that could be a battle for somebody who's going to play tomorrow and the next day in the championship match or in the 3-4 match. We'll see.
Let's talk about the matches, because you can bet them on the THP Sports book. Josh and Danny, yeah, they go off at minus 250. The comeback on Dillywood, you sort of set the table for this match already, is plus 200. Of course, the bets are just who wins the match, right? Not total points or anything like that. That would be kind of very hard for us to sort of do. Scooby, thoughts on this match?
I think Ddec was just hitting it there. Like, this sets the tone for Dillywood if they can come out of this without a big hole. What Juamise is going to bring to the table. They're going to be consistent. They're going to be right there in all their matches. So it's not losing ground if you want to make it to day 2 is where my head's at on this one.
Dean, you got a pick in this one?
I think Juamise takes this match, but I think Dillywood gets their fair share of points. The pops are going to be there for them. Mm-hmm. The front 9, you can do some scoring on the front 9. We'll see what happens.
Just going to cruise right through to match 2. Calm and combustible. Look, I may be the calm one here.
The ball's not in the air yet. We know.
Goes out against Shoveling Sunshine. This match is dead even on the sports book. It's minus 110 apiece. Slight edge on combined cap to Calm and Combustible. Dean, I'll start this time with you. Thoughts on this match?
Sorry, Dax. I love Shoveling Sunshine in this one. I think they've got something that's going to go on. I worry about what's going to happen when you miss that first fairway. If that calmness is going to go away right off the bat. You're going to be the 10th fairway, so you can still miss that one, and that could be tough. That's a tricky hole for a lot of people. We've seen some high numbers come in on it where you wouldn't necessarily think you would, but I still lean Shoveling Sunshine.
Scooby, do you have a better pick than Dean?
No, I do not,
Nope.
sir. I have a question. I don't have a pick.
Okay.
If you're in the first fairway,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll make a pick. I think you guys figure out how to come out of match one with more points than shoveling sunshine. If you're in the junk on the right, I'm afraid it crumbles real fast, and the meditation work leading up to this isn't going to matter.
Like, y'all have no faith in me. I like us in this match. Okay, I like us in this match.
Shocker.
I'm hitting the first fairway. I like us in every match. I'll go to match 3.
This should be like when Kurt Herbstreit doesn't make a pick for the game he's calling, because we know who you're going to pick every time you're in a match.
Okay, fine. Look. I'm picking us every match, including this one. So we switch it up. Jimini's switches. I mean, we switch up, and then they draw Mike and I. Look, I think this is a pivotal match on the point situation, right? Like, I do think that we need to get to the we need to get some points out of this match. I think that we win the match, but look, winning the match is only worth 1. I think that the format does set up well for Josh and Danny. Although, wait, I will say this: the format does not allow Josh to go into power save mode. And that means he's got to play every hole. He doesn't like doing that. Scooby, thoughts on match 3?
So this is the one where I do like calm and combustible on this one. I think the pops are going to play a role here. I think Mike G's been working with you enough to settle you after that first 9. I think if any of the teams, not JB and Danny Lee, want to have them in match 3 and 4, you guys basically have to win this one, is how I'm looking at it.
You're acting like I have like more rules than a gremlin. Okay, like, it's not gonna be that bad. It's not gonna be that bad. Dean, thoughts on this match?
Already, Scooby, hear him? It's not going to be that bad. It's not. He's saying it in his head because he knows what's about to happen. Yeah, sorry. Juamise takes the points here.
Okay. Match 4. Dillywood, they're a slight underdog here to the Sunshine Connection, Sunshine Express, if you will. Dean, what do you think about this sort of match? This is one of these ones where they're going to get a whole lot of pops here. What do you think about Dillywood's chances in this one?
Yeah, they're going to get a lot of pops here. I kind of like the format better in this one for them. To see what goes on, and if they can get some points, hopefully, like we've said, hopefully they're able to scrape together some off the first 9, and they can make up a little bit here, and then enjoy themselves going into alt shot.
Scooby, I think this is a very sort of pivotal spot for Dillywood, especially if the first 9 doesn't go as well as expected. Give me the case that the Dillywood pulls off the upset here in match 4.
I mean, you've got Shamble, right? And you've got a back 9 that plays a little bit tougher. You just need one of 2. And if you get 1 and 2 in play off the tee on that tougher side, I mean, showing Sunshine 13.6, it's not like they're going against Danny Lee, who's just consistent in all facets. So you get the 1 off the tee, you're riding a little confidence from match 1. All of a sudden, you could be going into match 3 on the plus side of the point table with the way the format and the pairings have laid out.
I don't disagree with that. I'm going to go to match 5. This is where we switch to alternate shot so that there's not a round robin element to alt shot. So Shoveling Sunshine draws Danny and JB. Dean, I'll start with you. Is the draw here that big of a deal, you think, as we get to this third 9 and now we're having sort of like a sprint to the finish, and I like to thank Jay Lou in advance because he's developed a scorecard to at least help the followers follow along what's going on. I think as a participant, we're just going to need to be concentrating on winning holes because every hole sort of counts in the match, and then at the end of this, hey, who are we playing tomorrow? Is kind of how I think that we should approach it. What are your thoughts about the draw here in alt shot?
Yeah, the draw in alt shot is it's tough. It's obviously the toughest format. Again, you got to go with Juamise has experience playing in alt shot. They have experience playing in alt shot at this course, which is a big deal. I've been a partner with JB and alt shot before, and we've had some pretty, I'll say, impressive scores. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the easiest format, but if you're working with your partner, you could get it done. Keep the ball in play, keep it in front of you, and just you can't make the big mistake. And neither of these teams, I don't know if Shoveling Sunshine is going to make the big mistake, but I think more shots are going to come from the other side.
Scooby, I mean, I made Josh and Danny a considerable favorite there, almost 2-1. Do you think the line's right? Are you going to shove coins in on them on here, or do you think that the Sunshine Connection's got something for them?
Well, I'm about out of coins after the last experience, but I think this
Deserve
match
it.
is all about how many points can Shoveling Sunshine accumulate, because I don't think they're going to get over the hump with this match. Like Dean said, JB is an excellent alt shot partner. I've been fortunate to be paired with him at an event in alt shot as well. He makes it easy. We hear about how Danny Lee is a wizard around the greens, which an alt shot can matter. And it's been, let me check the clock, 3 minutes. JB hasn't told us he's a champion yet. So when you get a wizard and a champion, they're going to win this match. They're going to take it.
The final match of this is Calm and Combustible against Dillywood in the alternate shot. Usually, like, I mean, this is basically the line's basically based on like what the format, the profile of the two teams in this type of format usually leads. Dean, I'll start with you. I'm not going to make a pick here because you know what my pick would be. Thoughts on this match?
Yeah, it would be embarrassing for you to pick Dillywood, right?
All right.
So this is the one where you have to hope that they have a good first 18 holes. If they do and they have some confidence going in, they could probably bring in some points. I think this is a tough go for them, though. Unless you've already completely lost your head at this point, I think you win the most points out of this match.
Scooby, do you concur?
I don't like agreeing with Dean. I'm gonna think on it for just a minute and just Thrillbilly reminded everyone out there watching that if you are low on coin balance, you sign up, get your Albatross Club membership for 2025. That balance can go up, and that means I have coins with which to bet. And in terms of that, this one is it's going to be tough because it's that big if, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the if. Can he stay calm, or is Dillywood just riding the momentum from that path earlier with some pops in hand? I want to go that way, but the high and alt shot, I can't. I think CNC pull this one out.
So before we get to like predictions and final thoughts, let's take a moment to discuss the stipulation of the fate of the anime gods. So here's the stipulation: is Shoveling Sunshine finishes fourth in this competition, the anime gods, which if you're new, much more in X-Thor, they will never be paired together at an experience again. Basically a loser leave town stipulation. Like, I like this a lot because it if now look, they could be in the clear. Nappy and Captain Maynard, they could be in the championship match, and you know what, anime gods rejoice. Okay. But if they're not, then we get into the second day. Dean, what are your thoughts about like who could finish last? Or this is the last we're going to see the anime gods like suspended from the ring in a shark cage, just watching the unfold in front of them with their fate in the balance with Nappy and Maynard. Like, what are your thoughts about this?
I think the anime gods will be back, and I'm excited to see them back. As you can see, they do some great swag. The forum loves them. They're kind of like the Chicago Cubs of THP experience. They're the lovable losers. So I think Shoveling Sunshine, is going to do enough to get the anime gods back.
Scoop?
It's going to come down to day 2. There's going to be drama, and I'm here for it. I'm not sure they're going to get there when you start looking at the matches and how it's going to play out. There's going to be day 2 drama.
Look, no one's been a bigger anime gods mark than me, right? I've been down since they were much Thor, right?
First and Fun knows that.
But if I'm in that match that tries to end their career, I'm not doing a job, Like I'm gonna get, like we're going over. So you just better hope that the day one goes really, really well for Calm and Combustible. Let's get to some predictions and final thoughts. Dean, I'll start with you.
Juamise is going to win.
Hmm.
They're going to win. The team that's Dillywood is the team that I'm looking out for just to see how well they do. I think they've got some confidence coming into this, and I hope Ballyhack isn't too much for them. And then we'll see what happens between Shoveling Sunshine and Common Combustible. As you can probably tell, I'm leaning towards the Florida boys.
Before you go, Scoop, for those of you watching, the 22 of y'all out there, throw into the comments what is your favorite UST Mamiya shaft and your shirt size, and I will pick someone at random. I appreciate all of y'all for watching us live. And if you like the shirt and don't get selected, let us know on the forum. So maybe you could buy one of these someday. I'm a Danny Lee guy. Scooby, I'll go to you for your pick.
All right. So, I just said Shoveling Sunshine is going to be in that day 2 match. I think, Dax, the question I have for you is when you potentially hit that putt to kill off anime gods, which putter are you going to be using? I'm going to be watching for that. So then that leaves us really with Dillywood and the JB Danny Lee team in the finals. And I've been thinking it through as we go. I mean, I could pick Chalk. I can pick the winner, the Wizard. I could pick who's on their celebration tour right now. But I'm not going to. Give me the Pops in this format. I think the Pops are going to play. Give me Dillywood, shocking the world here.
What a pick.
I love it.
What a pick.
Love it.
I like us in every match. Okay, so I feel like there's been a lot of disrespect, and maybe some of it's warranted. I think that I end up actually holding this thing together. I think that I drew the one partner besides maybe J. Lou or Master Yags that could provide some sort of calming influence if things start going south, and sort of instead of spiraling out of control and righting the ship, I'm going to take us to win this thing. I feel really good about where I'm at. Just because I haven't selected a putter doesn't mean that I can't putt lights out with both of them. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out which one is going to be the one that we can make the most putts with. Remember, if you have any questions for Danny while we go through sort of the Ask Danny Anything, the Q&A section, please put them in there, tag me or Maynard, and we'll get them answered. I'm looking forward to all of you following along. I'm more importantly looking forward to arriving in Roanoke and claiming the title at the finale. So, for JDax.
Wait, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
I'm interrupting you. That's right. So you're talking about you got multiple putters you're going to bring. It's kind of like having 2 quarterbacks. You don't have one if you have 2. What is your concern for you? Not for your team, but for you facing Ballyhack in this format.
The speed. You're gonna need to make putts to win holes. Okay. And the one thing that I was not able to do well the last 4 rounds I played there was to get sort of the speed control right. That's why there's a mallet and a blade that's gonna come with me, a double wide blade and a mallet. We're gonna have to make putts. Because Josh and Danny are going to make putts, and Maynard's a slightly better putter than I am usually. So that would be my main concern. Okay, can I finish the show now?
You can finish your show now.
Okay. I appreciate everyone joining us. We'll see y'all again in December, I believe. But until then, for Dean, for Scooby, this has been JDax, and we are out.